Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Outside of Life, where I chat with inspiring artists 5 days a week. My name is Eva and my guest today is Sara Faber, and in this episode you will learn about how she decided to pursue art and why it's not only about talent but also about learning every day.
Because I always thought, there are people that can draw and then there are people can't, and it's not just about talent. Nobody comes to the world and is a good artist. Some people have talent, some maybe not, but everybody can learn it.
Sara is a full-time illustrator and visual development artist based in Berlin. She specializes in character design, digital art and watercolors, which she shares on her popular Instagram account full of colors. So please welcome Sara Faber and let's get to the interview. So welcome everyone to the next episode of Outside of Life, and I'm super happy to have Sara here. Hi!
Hi!
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Perfect. It's not super sunny today, so I'm getting a bit cold here. I had to put actually a lot of lights here, so I'm good.
Oh, me too. I was going crazy about the light situation because the sun is getting up and getting covered again by the clouds, and okay. Light situation is really bad in here.
Oh, well, but at least we see each other. That's good.
Yeah.
And we talked a bit before the recording about the growing up. And do you have maybe some fun stories from when you were growing up? Maybe some creative things, what you did as a child, or maybe some artsy stuff?
What I did as a child?
Yeah.
I have... For me, when I grew up, I always drew all the time. I have one story that I recently told somebody. When I was in kindergarten, I had this friend of mine, and she also was drawing all the time. And then I saw her drawing this house. You know, this house everybody drew in kindergarten, it's just a house with the, with the roof, and it has a little bit of a 3D shape. So it's very simple, and I was so crazy about that. I was how did you do that? And then I was giving myself the goal to go home and practice until I can do this.
Oh, that's perfect. So that you were 3 or something like that. No, kindergarten is until 6 in Germany, right?
Yeah, younger than 6, maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, perfect. And so when did you decide it first time, okay, I want to take this professionally?
I always wanted to draw, definitely, but I never thought about this could be my job, because I just never saw the option actually. So I studied business communication in Berlin, and I tried to pick all the creative courses in order to find out what it is that I like to do, but I didn't really find it. So then I graduated and I applied for a job as a product designer because I thought this might be something I like. I didn't like it, but I had 1 month, 5 weeks or something between the graduation and the first day of my work. And I was at home and I was alone, and I was okay, so what I'm going to do now? And then I was thinking, okay, I can maybe put my effort into art. And then I started. And then I started my Instagram. And then pretty soon after that, I got the first little commission. And I was that's crazy. I just drew something and I got money for it. And somehow it's a job and I can maybe do it. And then I was taking it more seriously. And I think that was the point.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, so it's actually like me. I studied the business as well. And I'm I need to do something serious. And then I'm I don't like it.
Yeah, same.
But perfect. And so what was the first commission? Do you remember? Was it a portrait, or was it an animal or something like that?
No, the first commission was actually a book cover.
Oh, nice.
And that was really, really cool. The girl is she already published her first book. That was a self-published one. Or was it? I think she was planning on self-publishing it, but then there was a publishing company, agency, whatever, and they contracted her. So it was not a self-published one. And now she asked me to do the second book cover, and I'm
perfect.
very happy because it's a special connection because she's the first one that asked, and it's really cool to do it.
Oh, super nice. And then when you were like deciding, okay, I want to do this or the product design, have you had like advice from your surrounding, or do you like have you received like a good advice and bad advice? You remember?
Um, yeah, I remember that in the product design job, I was not really happy. I was going there really just for the money. It was fun, but I was thinking like, okay, when can I go home? Because I want to draw and I want to draw and I want to draw. And I was just thinking about drawing and drawing in the free time and like just thinking about drawing all the time. And I was talking to people about that, of course, to my parents, talked to friends, to everybody that I knew. And most of them, they said, like, just do whatever you want. You have nothing to lose. You don't like the job anyway, so you would quit anyways, like one day. So you can just try it. And then, yeah, and then I quit.
Good, good. And so when you decided to quit, did you like save up money that okay, now I will like it will take some time until I do like different jobs, or did you have like a job on the side, or what did
Yeah.
you live from in this time period?
Um, while I had the job, I did freelance on the side already, and I tried to save that all up. Then I also saved the money I got from the job, and then when I quit, it was it was the decision where I was like, I want to go in the art direction, and it felt right, but it was also super scary. But I kind of saved enough for that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you don't have to be like stressed out when it goes up and down sometimes. Yeah.
yeah,
And
exactly.
and when you are creating your own art now, what is your main inspiration? Is it nature or like movies or something interesting people might find like funny or weird?
I actually get inspired by yeah, just people on the street, nature definitely, and I have a dog, and he is 2 years old, and he has a very very funny personality, and I sometimes I get inspired by him because he's like actually he's very shy and cautious, and actually he's like a lady, but he wants to be the super cool guy. And then it's like sometimes super funny when we walk outside and then he's walking like he's super cool, and then sometimes there's a little, I don't know, something on the floor and he
Like
freaks out.
leaf?
Yeah, a leaf or something like that. He gets like super like, oh my God, what's that? And then he's just trying to calm down and being cool again.
So yeah,
So,
so he
yeah,
appears in your illustrations as well and maybe
yeah,
stories.
yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of try to build your, brand or the style or art style or kind of how people can recognize you, what is something which is always there, like, idea, vision or mission kind of you are trying to communicate? Do you have something set already?
Mm, that's a hard one. I'm always trying to be colorful and happy, more or less. Even when I do sad expressions or sad things, it should still be kind of happy, and I want to make people smile or something like that. But yeah, I don't really have a mission. Not really.
And do you create now digitally everything, or do you also do traditional for people don't know your art yet, or maybe you can advise what to start with or what you are working with now?
I when I started traditionally. I started with watercolors and I think charcoal. I did also this, but I started mainly with watercolors, and then I was drawing with watercolors for I think a year or 1.5 years straight, just watercolors, and I really fell in love with it. And then I started the digital drawing thing. I tried out different stuff, Photoshop, Procreate. My favorite is Procreate, and now where I work as a visual development artist in the studio, and I also do the freelance thing. And for the studio job, I have to work digitally because of the time. I do not have time to get out of my sketchbooks and to
It's like, oh.
Like my hands definitely don't have time for that. But I would love to actually. But yeah, the freelance thing, I do both.
And then at work you work with Photoshop at Cintiq, or do you have like an Intuos tablet, or what do you
Yeah, I have
prefer?
the Intuos one. But I try to really work with Procreate at times. Like I do both. But for me, it's just very, very simple. Sometimes I just draw something real quick and I take it and go to someone and show it. It's like it's more easy and I can do a lot of things with it. Just about like sketching real quick, I can do that with
Oh,
a.
nice. And isn't it confusing for you when you have to swap from one software to another, or is it okay to get used to it?
Yeah, it was. I fell into the trap of only using Procreate for too long. And lately I was like, oh my God, I really have to get back into Photoshop. I need to be able to do both. So then I did it and now it's fine. But it was hard when you're not practicing both all the time, you kind of forget shortcuts or whatever.
Yeah, or like brushes. You cannot use the same brushes, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
true.
so then you have to like recreate similar ones if you have like few favorite you use, or do you use a lot of brushes, or do you use like few which you like the most?
No, I really just most of the time I use two or three. Really bad.
But as you
Yeah,
say,
I
it's
think
faster.
it's to Procreate because it's very easy. When you can do Photoshop, you can do Procreate.
Yeah, I guess that's just it will take maybe one day to use to it, right? It's like okay,
Yeah,
I'll just
probably.
do this. And when you mentioned that, yeah, you studied like business, and when you decided, okay, I want to draw more, and did you have like some cool resources you like to learn from, or like books, or I don't know, YouTube, or something
Uh,
like that?
yeah, I actually watched. I don't know if it's everything, but I watched everything I could find. I watched a lot of YouTube videos about artists, and some artists do this like process thing. I find that really helpful. Also, I love buying art books, like the visual development books, the ones from Disney and Pixar. They have those art books. I like them, and then I also like the book called Color and Light by James.
Gurney, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This one is so helpful. And also, I do Schoolism workshops, and they are also very, very good.
Oh, nice. So, did you have like a favorite class from the schoolism workshop? Did you do like color and light, or character design, or?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Right now, I'm doing the color and light, and I really like it. I like how they approach color. And I also did the character one. And I like that I did stuff that I normally wouldn't do. Even even when I give myself the task to create a character, you wouldn't go like all the steps that
Yeah, yeah.
they suggest. That's really, really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did one class with also the actual feedback, so that was really good, which are actually quite expensive, but I think it was really helpful. And the other ones I did just without the feedback.
Oh, that's nice. I really want to do the feedback one day.
Yeah, I did it with Nathan Fawkes, which was like, he's really methodical, so that's really good for me. I really like that. So I'm like, okay, this is like really good one.
That's good.
And is there something you would like advise to young self, something you wish you knew before starting out?
Mm, I think if I would have known that you can learn everything, I would have started earlier. And maybe I would have also not studied something that I don't really want to do. Because I always thought, okay, like there are people that can draw and then there are people can't. And it's not just about talent. Like nobody like comes to the world and is a good artist. Some people have talent, some maybe not, but everybody can learn it. And I didn't know that. I really thought you have to be very good in it. And if you're not good right now, you cannot learn it. And I think if somebody would have told me that, like, you can learn this and you can be as good as you want to be, then I definitely would have like started earlier.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree because it's like, even I think if you have a talent, it's if you don't do anything, then you are
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, people were telling me, like I was the kid in the class where like, okay, you are drawing, but then I didn't do anything for many years and I was horrible. I'm like, so I need to study just to get better and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, and I think you can really see with every time you draw something, you can really see your improvement. That's really
Yeah.
fast.
So how did you approach learning? Did you like said, okay, I want to draw hands today, or I want to do, I don't know, like color and light, or did you like set it up according to classes, or you gave yourself a year to study, or how long did it take you as well?
Um, yeah, I started to draw characters, and how did I start? I think when I was a kid, I always bought those how to draw manga, you know, and I started to get to know more about anatomy and stuff. They really explained how like the head size and how many times head size and stuff like that. And this is what I learned there. And then I started with characters, and I looked at like characters that I like and tried to draw them. What I also found super helpful is drawing from life. Like I started drawing people around me because sometimes you just wouldn't expect something to be like when you just think about the pose, but when you actually see the pose, it's so different actually. So this is very, very helpful for me. And then I didn't go by classes or topics. Sometimes like there were times where I was like, I am so horrible in drawing hands. So I was like, okay, now like with every drawing that comes now, I will draw hands. I will not hide them behind the body or in the pockets or whatever. I draw them.
Yeah, I used to do that as well. It's like, the pose, like, oh yeah, well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. And do you still go to live drawing classes or just like the sessions, when you have the actual live model?
Yeah, in Berlin we have the drink and draw thing, and I just recently got introduced to that by a friend of mine who works in the studio. She is an animator, and she was like, "You have to go there, you have to go there." And then we went there, and it was so much fun. And I went there several times after that. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah. It is here as well, so I quite like it too.
good.
But now I found out also these live drawing classes where you can actually go and sketch different people who are like volunteering, like cosplayers. So they actually really like to put like different costumes. So that's
Ooh,
also quite fun.
that's also nice. That's pretty hard, I think, drawing costumes.
Yeah. I like the what is it, the cloth, how it is bending and shapes. Yeah, that's crazy. And now when you are like working on a different freelance projects, how do you decide when to say yes and no to if you don't have enough time?
I decide, I think, yeah, I decide on if it's helpful for my portfolio. Sometimes I don't have time or anything, but when there's a good commission, for example, illustrating a kid's book, like a children's book, I like doing that because it's very, very good for the portfolio. So this is what I would do if I have time or not. I would make time for it. And if it's maybe something smaller that I cannot really put in the portfolio and I don't have time, I might say no to it.
Yeah. But if it is good for portfolio, that's yeah, really nice. Do you have some tips maybe how to put together a portfolio for someone who never done it?
Oh my God, I don't have the best example.
Like from your experience, you do character design mostly. So how do you, how many pages do you maybe have?
Um, right now I'm working on my portfolio, so it's still in progress. But I would definitely say put everything in your portfolio that you really want to do. So if you once drew this amazing, I don't know, this amazing real life like portrait, like a real one, maybe people hire you because of this one and they want you to do this and you don't want to do it. So then don't put it on your portfolio. Only put the stuff on your portfolio you want to do. And about the pages, definitely only put your best stuff on it.
Yeah, if it is not too much, right? Because if there is like 40 pages and then you have something mediocre, then you're like, yeah, maybe that's not a good one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, update frequently. And then I heard this thing about put your best, like your two best ones in the beginning and in the end and in the middle or something. Um, I think this is also very cool.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
And how do you now find new paid projects? Is it mainly social media or like, the networking? Do you go also for events in Berlin or how do you do that?
It's mostly social media. Um, most commissions I get because of the Instagram account that I have. Also the website. There are also some commissions coming into the contact form. I don't really go to events here. I have to definitely improve in this thing.
There are so many.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there is what is it, the Berlin Comic Con, I think? That's like in the summer, I
Oh yeah,
think.
last year I wanted to go, but it was exactly the weekend where I was somewhere. I was traveling.
Okay.
That was like, okay, next year I'm gonna go.
Yeah, yeah. I think I might join next year as well. And then I heard there is this, what is it called? Trojan horse? Is it unicorn? No, unicorn was a Trojan horse.
Yeah,
So that's what I
yeah,
heard that it's
yeah,
good.
yeah. But this is not in Berlin, right?
No, this is in, I'm not sure if Porto, but it's in Portugal. I'm not sure where, but I have to check. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
my friend told me about it, and she said it was amazing. She went there, and she went to all the school talks, and so many people come there, and I really want to go there too.
Good. So see you there.
Awesome.
Perfect. And so, did you also have something like the bad career moment, or like this, like the worst time where you were like deciding, okay, what do I do next? And if you had something like this, what do you learn from it?
Mm, I think it was definitely the time where I wasn't sure about should I do the art thing or not, or should I stay in this normal job, getting normal money and having a secure thing. That took me a while actually to really decide on that and to be brave and quit and do something new. But the company was very understanding. They knew about my freelance thing and they were very supportive. Also, my parents, when I told them that I want to do it, they were also very, very supportive because they both run their own businesses and they kind of showed me that it's okay to do something on your own.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the biggest, turning point. But worst career moment, that's I don't know. It was good and bad because it was so scary for me.
Yeah.
It was kind of good, but it's also I don't know. It was super scary and things like that. They really messed with me. Like I felt very bad during that time, and I was like, "What should I do? Can someone give me the answer, please?"
Have you had like a mentor or someone, kind of like maybe a role model? Like, okay, I want to be like this person, I don't know, in 5 to 10 years?
No, not really. I have some like artists that I really like. I really like all the Disney artists. I look up to them like they're so good. But also there's one person that I really like. Do you know Anna Bond? She's doing the Riffle Paper Company. And
Yeah, I know the company, but yeah, I don't remember the name, but yeah.
yeah, they do stationery, and I mean, it's nothing that I want to do. I don't want to do stationery, but still, she just started this stationery company, and she's doing this, or she started on her own, and then her husband helped her, and that was very inspiring to me to see that like there's this woman and she's doing that all on her own. I really like that.
Yeah, because that's a really good role model if you think about, right? If I want to be maybe there, not exactly the same product, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And do you maybe remember also like good advice what your parents gave you before starting your own thing? Like business wise,
Um, Not really. My parents didn't give me any advice. Oh my God.
Or something like, well, maybe you have to know, like, I need to do my taxes by myself and all of these things which people don't think about when you're like, okay, I'll just draw all the time.
I think they because they always did that, and I grew up just knowing that they both had their own thing. I knew that there are good and bad times, and I cannot expect everything to be perfect all the time. Commissions coming in all the time, and everything is so secure. There's definitely like down times, and yeah, that's not really an advice they gave me, but they showed that to me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, because you see it around you, so it's like normal to think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. And what are the projects you are working on now? Maybe something exciting you can share, which is maybe not confidential or...
In the studio job that I do as a visual development artist, we do a VR experience at the moment. And it's going to be like a short movie. So like you put on the headset and you're going to be in this huge magical library, and there's going to be like a little bunny coming to you and you can interact with it. And that's actually pretty cool. We are not done, but we might be in the beginning of next year. And I think this is going to be super cool to have the chance to work on something cool like that.
Nice. So you actually draw in the VR, or you draw separately and then it's applied, or how do you interact with this?
I would love to draw in VR. Definitely, you can do that. But I didn't have the time yet to. I mean, I did something, but I really want to take my time and sit there for hours and just practicing drawing in VR. But for now, I just really draw it and like digitally, do the concepts and give them to our 3D modeler. They make the 3D models, then it's going to go to the animator and they animate it, and then it's going to be implemented in the story.
Oh, nice. Super cool. Yeah, because that sounds really good that if you are like in a library, you can check out different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, also yesterday I saw this video where someone was actually like, they put together a library of sketchbooks. So it's just like a sketchbook library, so maybe you can implement some sketchbooks and some art books.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's actually really cool. I would love to be in a library full of other people's sketchbooks.
Right, that's such a good idea. I was like, I'm just like so going there.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest it.
Perfect. And so when you are creating also your stuff, do you have like a favorite character or something you created so far? Like this is something you remember the most?
I think it's the first painting, more or less, that I ever did with watercolor that I was kind of proud of. I cannot really show it now because it's not here, but it's just a girl, like a traveling girl behind, in front of big leaves. Yeah. And I remember I took, I don't know, 3 days or 4 days for it, and it's just a very small painting, but it took me forever. And I was sitting on the balcony and inside, and the balcony and inside. I was sitting there all the time, changing places because I wasn't sure if the sun is good for it, if I should sit outside, if I should sit inside. I was so unsure about everything that I did and also every stroke that I did, but it turned out pretty cool for the beginning, and that's actually, I think, my favorite.
Oh, perfect. And so now, how long does it take you to create the drawing, or how, I mean, like, depends, of course, how complex it is. But like when you normally draw like every day, like how does your day look like with like how many hours do you draw? And if you can take us through this classic day of yours.
Sure. I have actually, every day is the same for me. I get up in the morning and then I take a shower, eat breakfast, and go for a walk with my dog. And I go to the studio, and then it's like 9 or 9:30, and then I start drawing until 6 or 7. And then I go home, and sometimes I keep drawing my personal stuff. Sometimes I do it in the lunch break or in the morning. But actually I draw all day, every day, also on the weekends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because some people like don't sleep enough. They just draw like, sleep like 4 hours and they draw all night. So you are okay with like drawing
Yeah,
your sleep normally.
I used to do that when I had like some commissions and I couldn't really manage my time. But I really saw like the quality is decreasing. I was like, the quality is so bad. So I really have the focus on my sleep pattern to be good and to get my 7 or 8 hours of sleep, and then I can draw again.
And do you have like a home studio where you draw, or you just draw, like on a dining table or like some area of your house or flat?
I, I have a room. I have a little teeny tiny studio,
Nice.
and I have my drawings on the walls and all the tablets and sketchbooks, and yeah, I like it. But I would like to have one day, that's a little dream that I have, to have like a studio not in the house, but somewhere near here, just to like go there in the morning, go to your own studio and full of plants and colors. Yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. Yeah, because now also they do these co-working spaces, so maybe there is something like that also in your area, which is maybe not expensive, and yeah,
Yeah,
maybe at some point.
check that out. I already checked some co-working spaces, but most of them are very expensive. But yeah, we check for cheaper ones.
Yeah, wow, that sounds really good. And then let's talk about the future and like future studios. And so, how would you imagine your like dream scenario in like 5 to 10 years? Maybe what are you working on? Maybe projects you would like to do?
Um, I think I have two dreams. Two sounds weird, but I have like this one thing is just to be a visual development artist for an animation studio. That's pretty cool to have a team, to have like supervisors, and to just like have feedback. Because for now I work mainly alone, and I do things, and I never know if they are good or not because nobody is giving feedback. That's sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's also not so cool. And then the other thing is the studio. I would love to have the studio and maybe to be just a freelance visual development artist if I cannot make it to the studio. But definitely the job is definitely set.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward to see all of that. Maybe you can have like a big team of people, and you can make a studio for like a European animation.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that's yeah, I would like that. And what about like really far, far future and like 100 years? What would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, um, hmm. I think for my artwork, I would like that people see it and they say, "Oh, Sarah made that, right?" Like something that I find maybe a style that fits to kind of everything, but also put my own like vibe into it. So people would see what I did. That would be really cool. And maybe one day I also gonna publish a book or something for myself.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, yeah. I'd like art book, tutorial book, something. Yeah. That would be perfect. And and before we finish, maybe you can share like last piece of advice or key takeaway, and then after that we'll say goodbye.
Okay. I think what I think it's most important is to do what you love, and also when you maybe doubt that it's gonna work out at the end, or maybe sometimes you have like downtimes or throwbacks or something, don't give up and just keep pushing through it. One day you get there.
Nice. I like it. So thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice.
Oh, you're nice. I'm like, my pleasure. So I really enjoyed this conversation, and and thanks everyone for joining, and see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know in comments. Also, please subscribe to my channel for more videos because I post new interview every single workday. You can also find the resources mentioned in this episode at artsideoflife.com. Just type a guest name in the search bar. There is also a little freebie waiting for you, so go check it out. If you want to listen to the interviews on the go, make sure to check out the podcast episodes at artsideoflife.com/podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and don't forget to inspire each other. I will see you guys in the next episode.